Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is Lucas, welcome to the channel. And this is Brazil for Foreigners. So if you're a foreigner, stay put, because we're going to speak some interesting facts about Brazil. And if you're not a foreigner, bom, aí você pode aprender algo novo sobre o seu próprio país. Well, so let's begin, shall we? So today we're going to speak about one of the most amazing things I believe we have as Brazilians, which is our language. So today I'll attain myself to speak just about the language, a little bit of extra content like about culture, because there's no way of speaking about the language without speaking a little bit of culture and history, but I'll mainly speak about the language. So if you want to know more about the Brazilian culture, like more deep kind of stuff, or if you want to know more about our food, our habits, the do's and don'ts when you're coming to Brazil, let me know in the comments, and who knows, in the future videos I shall bring some of those questions up and elucidate them for you guys. Oh, by the way, if you're not subscribed to the channel, click the subscribe button down below and also like this video, it helps a lot. Yeah, that's about it. So let's begin. Okay, so language. What language does Brazil speak? Although we are in South America, also known as Latin America, we do not speak Spanish like most of our neighbors. We speak Portuguese. Yes, Portuguese. But also not quite the Portuguese that is spoken in Portugal, which was our conqueror in the past. No, we speak a different kind of Portuguese. It's kind of like saying that England and United States speak different kind of English. Portuguese has its roots in Latin, altogether with Spanish, French, and Italian. Although Portuguese has its name because of, Portugal, it's a language spoken in Portugal, so Portuguese. Although that's true, only 5% of Portuguese speakers live in Portugal, which is kind of odd, right? Well, not really. If you think about it, Portugal is this very tiny country in Europe, and they conquered, other than Brazil, they also conquered Mozambique and Angola, and there's another one, it's coming. It's a group of 10 islands on the coast of Africa, and the west coast of Africa. Just a sec. Cape Verde. Cape Verde? Is that how you say? Cabo Verde. Cape Verde. Anyways, those are one of the most known countries that had been conquered by Portugal that also speak Portuguese. But there's also a difference. The Portuguese spoken in those countries are more similar to the one spoken in Portugal. But when you come to Brazil, it's quite different. First of all, Portuguese itself, in its formation, had a lot of influence from Italian, French, and Arabic. Hence the words al-mosharifi, al-fasi. No, I don't think that's true. Al-fasi, maybe, I don't know. So you see this al thing, this prefix, it comes from Arabic languages. So we have a lot of influence and a lot of vocabulary coming from those 4 languages. But when you're talking about Brazil, we also had the immigration of Africans and Japanese. And by Africans, I mean from different tribes and regions of Africa. So they all brought with themselves their own dialect, their own words that were slowly incorporated by the Brazilians. By the way, according to Gilberto Freire in his book Casa Grande Senzala, or in its translation for the English language, The Masters and the Slaves, in his book he says the following about the Brazilian language. I'll read for you in Portuguese so you can feel the music and the sounds of Portuguese and get in touch with the language, but I'll put the translation here on the screen somewhere, okay? Let's do it. Accordingly to Gilberto Freire em Casa Grande Senzala, a negra africana, mãe preta, babá e cozinheira da casa, fez com as palavras o mesmo que com a comida, machucou-as, tirou-lhes as espinhas, os ossos, as durezas, só deixando para a boca do menino branco as sílabas moles. Daí, esse português, que no norte do Brasil, principalmente, é uma das falas mais doces do mundo. Also, Miguel de Unamuno, a Spanish writer, he said, Portuguese is like Spanish, but without bones. And to finish this praise to the Brazilian Portuguese language, I'll quote Essa de Queiroz, who said que o idioma do Brasil era português, mas com açúcar. It's so poetic to think that Portuguese, the Brazilian Portuguese, is Portuguese, but with sugar. And if you already had the chance to come to Brazil and try our food, you realize that our food is either too salty or too sweet for the foreigner palate. Usually, because we like, you know, we like to feel the taste of it properly. So saying that we did that, we put sugar even in our language, I think it's just great and poetic. So basically, in order to make the Brazilian Portuguese, it's a long recipe, because you take the form of Portuguese from Portugal that already had influences from Arabic languages. Then you come across to America, get in touch with the native language, which the most famous one is Tupi-Guarani, but there were many other languages. Then you take all of this, mix up with the African dialects, the Japanese, the Italians. Anyways, you just take all of those many cultures and languages, mix it all together, and there you have Brazilian Portuguese. Oh, and for sure, don't forget to add some sugar on it, because, you know, if you don't have the dance, you don't have the rhythm, it just lacks something. Anyways, that's all I wanted to say. So thank you very much for watching. I hope this video came to bring you some new knowledge about Brazilian Portuguese and about Brazil itself. It was a pleasure to make this video for you guys. And if you know more than me about Brazilian Portuguese, please, you're invited to teach me new stuff here in the comments as well, so I can bring more interesting stuff, more accurate stuff for you guys. Thank you very much. See you on the next video.